U.S. banks now treat your voice as a password. A single spoken yes can authorize a wire transfer, confirm a payment, verify your identity. With AI that clones voices from just 3 seconds of audio and over 5 billion robocalls hitting American phones every year, 2 ordinary words on an unknown call could drain your account. And the system that makes it all possible is already inside your bank. JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Wells Fargo, Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, and TD Bank each allow a customer's voice to serve as a key. These banks have woven voice biometrics into their call center and phone banking systems, transforming a simple spoken answer into the digital equivalent of a signature. During enrollment, a customer reads a random phrase. The system captures more than 100 unique features: pitch, cadence, accent, even the subtle vibrations in the vocal cords. This voice print becomes a stored template locked in an encrypted vault. When a customer calls in, the system listens for a match. For basic actions, a 70% similarity score might be enough. For high-value transactions, wiring money, adding a new payee, the threshold rises to 85 or even 90%. A recorded yes can trigger the release of funds, close an account, or approve a wire transfer, provided the match score is high enough. According to the New York Department of Financial Services, voice-based consent, when captured in a secure call center environment and logged with a timestamp, now counts as a legally binding electronic signature. Federal Reserve guidance echoes this, stating that a voice print match and a recorded phrase meet the reasonable assurance standard for authorizing financial transactions. Banks pitch this system as a leap forward in convenience and security. A technology spokesperson from one major institution describes it this way: "Your voice is as unique as your fingerprint. No two are alike. We use advanced algorithms to analyze over 100 acoustic markers, making it nearly impossible for an imposter to break through." Yet the system's strength is also its risk. A single clear recording, just a few seconds of you saying yes, can be enough to fool the match if it's replayed or cloned. The audit trail logs every spoken authorization, storing the audio, the match score, and the decision in a tamper-proof ledger. But the technology's confidence is not absolute. Recent Senate hearings revealed that an AI-generated voice clone fooled a major bank's verification engine, allowing unauthorized transfers. Internal data shows that roughly 1 in 5 call center transactions now rely on voice authentication, with the majority involving high-risk actions. The law is clear: a recorded voice, matched and logged, can move money. The technology is spreading fast. By 2026, more than 40% of the world's largest banks will have rolled out voice print authentication. In this environment, a casual yes to an unknown caller is no longer harmless. It's a biometric key, and it can be stolen in seconds. Americans are answering their phones into a landscape littered with risk. The Federal Trade Commission received over 68,000 reports of phone-based fraud in the last year alone, a number that only scratches the surface, since many victims never file a complaint. The scale is staggering. The FCC estimates that Americans are hit with about 5.5 billion robocalls every single month. That's nearly 180 million calls a day, blanketing the country with a constant barrage of potential threats. These aren't just harmless nuisances. According to recent data, 27% more people reported losing money to phone scams this year compared to last. The losses are real, and they're rising. Fraudsters are not just calling more often, they're getting better at what they do. With every new wave of technology, the scams evolve. The FTC's Sentinel network now lists phone scams among the top 3 sources of consumer fraud complaints nationwide. For many, the call comes from a local area code or even appears as a trusted business. The voice on the line might sound exactly like a family member, a bank representative, or a government official. These calls are often powered by artificial intelligence, capable of cloning a voice from just a few seconds of audio. Once a scammer has that clip, they can target hundreds or thousands of people in minutes, scaling their attack far beyond what any single con artist could manage in the past. The numbers tell the story. In 2023, phone-based scams cost Americans over $1 billion, with older adults suffering the greatest losses. The AARP reports that adults over 60 receive up to 3 times more scam calls than younger people, and the average loss per incident continues to climb. Even aggressive federal action, like the Traced Act, which gave the FCC new powers to block spoofed calls, hasn't closed the gap. Millions of illegal robocalls still slip through every day, and enforcement struggles to keep pace with the sheer volume and sophistication of the attacks. This is no longer a problem confined to a few unlucky targets. The threat is everywhere, and it's growing. Each statistic represents not just a call, but a potential breach, a moment when a simple word could hand over access to your finances, your identity, or your peace of mind. A scammer no longer needs hours of recorded speech to copy someone's voice. Today, 3 seconds is enough. Microsoft's Lambda model, along with platforms like Resemble and 11 Labs, can generate a working voice clone from a single phrase, just a quick yes, or a greeting captured on a call. With that, the system can mimic pitch, accent, even emotion, and turn any script into a convincing imitation. Dr. Leena Patel, a digital forensics expert, warns that the barrier to entry has collapsed. Anyone with a few seconds of audio and a credit card can generate a voice model that fools not just humans, but machines. The "Can you hear me?" scam first appeared in the United States in 2017, flagged by the Better Business Bureau. The hook was simple. A caller asks for confirmation, records the answer, and uses it to authorize charges or open accounts. By 2019, Canadian versions added fake call center noise to mask digital artifacts. In 2021, the United Kingdom saw the script evolve into emergency stories, like car accidents, to spark panic. Australian variants in 2023 layered in travel scams, while in 2025, Spanish-language versions spread through Latin America, targeting families over messaging apps. Each wave adapted to local habits but kept the same core tactic: lure the target into saying yes or "I need help." The motive is clear. A short, clean voice sample can be sold, reused, and plugged into automated attack scripts. With AI, a scammer can now clone a victim's voice in minutes and launch hundreds of calls at once. The global spread of these tactics shows just how easy it's become to turn an ordinary phone conversation into a profitable fraud. On the dark web, a verified phone number, one attached to a real voice sample, can fetch 10 times more than an unverified one. A clean recording of a simple word or phrase is currency. Fraud analyst Mark describes it as the new gold rush for cyber criminals. When a scammer captures your voice, even for a second, that audio can be resold, reused, and plugged into automated attack scripts that target banks, payment apps, and brokerage accounts. Seniors are the most lucrative targets. According to the latest AARP analysis, 68% of all phone fraud losses strike adults over 60. The FBI's Internet Crime Complaint Center logged $2.4 billion in reported losses last year alone, with the majority traced to phone-based attacks. The stories behind these numbers are sobering. In Florida, a retired engineer lost $50,000 after a scammer used a cloned voice to authorize a wire transfer from his brokerage account. In Illinois, a grandmother's yes on a call led to $25,000 withdrawal from her checking account, greenlit by a bank's voice biometric system. Both cases involved less than 5 seconds of recorded speech. The Traced Act, passed with fanfare in 2019, was supposed to end robocall fraud by requiring carriers to authenticate caller IDs. But 4 years on, nearly 80% of scam calls still slip through, according to FCC compliance data. Enforcement lags behind innovation, leaving a vast gap that scammers exploit daily. FCC analyst James Bluntly calls it a policy firewall with holes you could drive a truck through. So what can you do? Experts recommend a 3-step defense. Never say yes or any confirmation phrase to an unknown caller. Hang up immediately if pressured, and report suspicious calls to the FTC or your bank's fraud hotline. If you are caught off guard, do not try to reason or argue, just end the call. These simple moves can shut down the scam before your voice becomes someone else's key. Every year, billions of robocalls and new AI tools put your identity at risk, not just your patient's. As voice prints replace passwords, a single word can unlock your accounts for criminals. Staying silent on unknown calls is no longer caution, it's self-defense. Stay alert. Protect your voice.